I'm Charlotte Götz. I am a scientist at the European Space Agency, and I study comets and how they interact with the space around them. What is a comet? Comets are small objects in our solar system. They're usually just a couple of kilometers in diameter. It's about the size of a village or a small city. And they are made up of ice and dust. This ice and dust is very, very loosely packed, so there's a lot of small spaces in between it. This means the density is quite low. So if you had a really big bathtub, the comet would actually float in it. They also have very small gravitational pull. So if you jump on a comet just a little bit, you would just float away. Comets have all kinds of shapes. Most of the ones that we've seen are kind of potato-shaped. But my favorite, this one, and it's kind of rubber ducky shaped. They hurtle through our solar system at speeds about 1,000 times faster than you can go in a car. So this is about 1 to 100 kilometers per second. And the ones that we know most are those that go closer to the sun. There, the comet then heats up because of the sunlight on its surface, and the ices become a gas and leave the comet. They expand into space. And this causes the gases to be accelerated away from the comet, which then forms a tail. And this is what most comets are known for. Some of these tails are so bright that by just looking at the night sky with a small telescope or binoculars, you can actually observe these tails yourself. Where do comets come from? About 4 billion years ago, our solar system didn't exist. None of the planets in it had formed. There was just a giant nebula around the sun that was made up of ice and dust. And the planets then started to slowly form and started to collect the nebula around them. But small rocky beginnings of comets also formed, and they very, very slowly collided together. Some of them continued to grow and became moons and planets, but some of them were just small, didn't grow much further, and eventually they moved out to the edge of our solar system. Passing planet or even a passing galaxy from outside our solar system can give them really tiny push, and they start to journey back into our solar system near the planets and near Earth. And this is where we can observe comets as well. Because these comets have up until then had a very quiet and undisturbed life, they haven't been heated up by the sun. They have very small gravitation, though they're not compressed by their own gravitation. And that means that these comets are actually the leftovers that we can observe from the formation of our solar system. They can tell the story of what this formation period, this time where the planets formed and the moons around them actually looked like. So we can understand how the solar system was made by looking at comets. Can we visit a comet? Yes. Well, not we ourselves, but we can send little robots, spacecraft, to the comet to observe it for us. The first major comet that we were able to observe with spacecraft was Comet Halley in 1986. It was visited by a fleet of little robots from all over the world, from the United States, from Russia, from Japan, and also from Europe. They observed the comet, but only very briefly. They couldn't stay there. That's much too difficult for such a fast comet as Halley. But they flew by in a couple of hours and they collected all the data that we can then analyze. This helped us see what comets look like, the shape, and what the dust was like that surrounded it. But the scientists wanted to study a comet in more detail and over a longer time to see how it evolved from being very far away from the sun to very close to the sun. So in 2014, the European mission Rosetta arrived at comet 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko, and it was able to stay there for 2 years and observe the comet and its surroundings. And Rosetta's little sibling, Philae, even landed on the comet and took pictures just a couple of centimeters from the surface. This was quite an achievement for a little spacecraft that's just the size of a washing machine. At the end of the coming decade, so at the end of the 2020s, we're going to launch another cometary mission. It's called Comet Interceptor, and it will be the first spacecraft ever to fly by a comet that has just come from the edge of our solar system. This mission will tell us how comets change as they approach the sun, and it will help us understand our own planet Earth and how the solar system formed.